Hey, I'm sorry. I
All
feel
right.
I just
Joy, how
hi.
you
I
doing?
just joined the server, and I was looking to speak to some legit, actual, flat earthers and stuff.
Hey, welcome to the server. I got my friend here, Witsit Gets It. You can
Hmm.
ask some questions to him.
Yeah, yeah. My main question is how did you get into the flat Earth theories and things like that? Like, what made you guys interested in it?
I'm sure everyone has heard about it in different ways, but hilariously enough, the first time I heard of Flat Earth was in a song by B.O.B. in the Elements mixtapes. And since he had pointed out a lot of other conspiracies I knew to be true, like genetically modified organisms being bad for you and blah, 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 I was like, well, I'll look into it because I told my friends to listen to it. Now I look. So that's how I found out about it. Then I just was like, well, we'll debunk this super fast. I'll just go look up a picture of the Earth from space. And then I found out that the famous one everyone had been seeing, the infamous blue marble, was admittedly not real. It was CGI. NASA admits it's not real. So I'm like, wow, so this is not a real picture in the 21st century. It's a cartoon. Like, that's kind of weird. So then I found out that the only supposed real picture was all the way back in 1972 during the moon mission. And since I already knew the moon missions were fake, I immediately knew something was there because there's no real pictures of the Earth from space. That's how I got into it. Then I just deep dove in information pretty much nonstop for like the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
why.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? Anything like that?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly the same story, but in a British accent if you want.
I mean, if you want to.
I
But,
can tell you the same story, but in Spanish if you want to hear it.
yeah, I
I have a
mean,
question.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Okay.
oh, sorry, go on. Go.
Well, no, I was gonna say I'm new to this whole thing. You said you thought the moon landing was fake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I don't know what to believe, but like, why do you think it wasn't real?
Uh, that's a
Oh
pretty
man.
loaded question, but yeah, I'll
So,
try and
so,
I'll
so can
try
I
to
just get
quickly. So go ahead.
guys very, very, very quickly get in here, dude? Just to let you know that the moon landing is it's such low kind of quality discussion for this kind of room.
Oh,
You know, like if you want to know about the moon landings, Witsit's gonna be fine with it. But I'm just saying you might want to ask a more important question than that.
well, I've only asked
Yeah.
that because I'm just curious.
Okay, yeah, so their whole story doesn't add up, and then JFK came out in 61 and said we're going to go to the moon in 8 years. And then 7 years after that, one of the astronauts that was supposed to go to the moon, he got on national TV and said, dude, we're not going to the moon. He's like, we can't even get to low Earth
Wait, do you have
orbit.
that video?
I'm sure someone could find it if it's not been scrubbed.
Bro,
Here.
if I see that video, I will believe it 100%.
Okay, that wouldn't be smart either. But so he says, there's no way we're going to the moon next year. We can't even get to low
Wait,
Earth
do you know which
orbit.
astronaut said that?
Gus Grisham.
How do you spell that?
That's his name. Can you guys vouch? I don't know. Gus.
Yeah, Platter has typed it in the live stream chat.
Yep.
Alright,
Gus
I'll be
Grisham.
quiet now. I just want to...
yeah, I've heard a
All
lot
right,
of
cool.
things.
So,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
on.
Well, just to finish that point real fast. So he said that we're not going to the moon next year, dude. We can't even get to low Earth orbit, and we can't even communicate within our own buildings. And then shortly after that, he mysteriously died on NASA's facilities doing a routine checking of wires because for some unknown reason, the door was sealed from the outside and they accidentally pumped way too much oxygen in there. So he incinerated, burned to death, just like so. That's what happened right after he said we couldn't go and hung a lemon on the lunar module, which is like if a dealership sells you a lemon, they sell you a car that doesn't work. He was making a point that it doesn't work. And yeah, they took him out right after that. Then miraculously happened to pull it off the next year. So seems legit.
Yeah, also I would say that it wasn't just him that was incinerated, it was his whole crew, so all three of them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Those are the real unspoken heroes.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the moon landing. That's my main reason. I was kind of curious about it because, I've heard a lot of debunks of the flat Earth theory as a whole. So I kind of wanted to see a different perspective, like because I watched a lot of this. There's just one guy who debunks a lot of flat Earth theories. I can't even remember his name, but he's on YouTube.
Professor Dave.
Yep, Professor Dave. Yep. I was wondering what are you guys' thoughts on Professor Dave?
Just one point before
I'm
you
about to
guys
debate him.
break that down, real quick. There was actually the YouTube algorithms have been fixed. These people were in NASA and in Congress talking about conspiracy theories. So Congress was asking some officials of YouTube about what they were gonna do about conspiracy theories, including flat Earth. And YouTube said they're gonna put algorithms that are gonna discourage those type of searches, and they're gonna give you these boxes that will kind of give you the real information, discouraging people from searching conspiracy. So they give you the debunking results instead of giving you
and
the
by
real
the way,
information.
all these new people are going to ask the same questions that Professor Dave thinks he has a got you for us on. So,
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
The YouTube
they're
algorithm.
all effortless.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm is most definitely pushes down a lot of conspiracy theories, which I hate. They usually put like I'm a naturally curious person, right? I want to know more about things. I don't, I want to see both sides. So like when they push down, like they just put Professor Dave, which I do like him, but I also want to see the other side. It's better to see the person's actual argument before the rebuttal. I mean, or like the right.
Can I?
Just letting you know, 1 second, my bad. This guy Witsit
wasn't
is
Witsit
answering
talking.
questions for you. Professor Dave is scared to debate Witsit. So just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to ask, not Joy, what is it that you like about Professor Dave's content?
Oh yeah, he talks a lot about like certain things that are just like a little goofy. Like he talks about like horoscopes and stuff like that, and I kind of got into that, and his charisma, things like that, like debunks and a lot of other stuff. He talks about a lot of interesting things that I'm just I want to see both sides of. And
Gotcha.
like yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
what would you say? What would you think if I told you that when he gives that presentation so arrogant, talking about how easily debunked flat Earth is and how stupid it is? What would you think if everything that he said in the video was actually a straw man against what flat earthers actually think?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you think that's kind of like telling that he couldn't argue the actual position?
Yeah, I'd actually like what arguments have he strawmanned?
Every single one that he says is a straw man.
Like, can you give me like an example or something like that?
Yeah.
oh, it'd be cool. How about you ask us some questions about flat Earth? Maybe you
That's what's
might have
happening,
some
Helio.
ideas.
Yeah,
Allow
just
it.
let
Let it flow.
yeah.
I'll let
Just-
it flow. Let
Yeah.
yourself
Okay,
go.
look, I mean, if
Slow
there's
and low, that is the tempo. Like
Helio,
the Beach Boys
bro.
said.
yeah, if you
I just want to ask, not Joy. You know what a straw man is, right?
yeah,
Not like okay, cool. 'Cause- yeah, I'm not trying to patronize, but some people don't know this stuff.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so for example, one thing that he's shown is a diagram, like this little cartoon diagram. For one, this little cartoon diagram is a straw, right? Like no real flat earther claims to know exactly what the Earth is in the perfect map because we've been lied to about the Earth, and it's illegal to privately travel past the 60th south latitude or to the North Pole. So we literally couldn't. So right there, fundamentally, every one of his little cartoons he shows is just a straw man fallacy immediately.
So,
But even beyond that, one of them he shows like that little animation, right? The flat Earth with the people standing,
Mhm.
and then he shows three people like in a triangle on that circle map, and he shows them looking out to the edge, and he said, "The Earth can't be flat because all these people can see the Southern Cross at the same time." Right? But on a flat Earth, they'd be looking in all different directions. Look, and he shows the map. Right now, in reality, all three of those people can't see the Southern Cross at the same time because it's literally nighttime at different times for those people. So if it's not nighttime at both the places, they couldn't both see the stars, right? So he just blatantly misrepresents reality that and is dishonest. That's just one of everything he's ever said. There's a story like that behind it.
Yeah, so let me just clarify. I'm not, coming into this, I'm not very knowledgeable on astronomy. I'm not very knowledgeable, right? I'm not very
Mhm.
but I do know that I have made a lot of arguments. Like I've made been in a lot of debates in my lifetime, and I wouldn't necessarily say this would be a straw man because there are certain people who do believe in these certain arguments, right? Like, oh well,
No.
yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean, but there are certain flat earthers who aren't able to conceptualize certain things when it comes to astronomy, as well as I am. And
But you could, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that's a reasonable assumption. But the truth is that when you see these straw mans, like, so if you Google flat Earth and you see like a disk in a solar system with other planets on it, there's literally not one single real flat earther that I've ever met, and I've met thousands, who ever thought that. So just so you know, like the mainstream version is literally not what any of us think. Like,
all right, yeah.
just so you
So what version of flat Earth do you guys subscribe to?
So more specifically, the Earth is a plane. It's a topographical plane. So we have topography, mountains, and valleys on this. Okay, they say that 70% of the Earth is water. Of course, we don't agree with the percentage because there could be more Earth. We don't. But all the oceans lay flat. That's why they're called sea level.
Mhm.
And that's how we get elevation. Is we take that horizontal line of sea level and we measure a distance above. Okay, so our position is that all the oceans are level and horizontal, and water finds its level. It's called fluid static. So we just know that there's land that measures as a plane, and there's water that measures as a plane. Effectively, the Earth is like the basement. It's like the bottom floor. We are not out in space with planets. No one thinks that. It makes no sense. Why would we be the only flat disk in a solar system of planets? But what we actually think is that the Earth is just the bottom floor and everything in the sky is just above us. And those are lights in the sky that move over top of the Earth, but they're completely different than the Earth. It's like if you had a light bulb on your ceiling that doesn't somehow make your house a light bulb, right? So that's kind of the basic there. We think that there has to be a container on the Earth. Now no one knows what the container. No one knows what the container is. No one knows where it is. No one knows what it's made of or what it is, anything like that. We just know that the Earth has to be contained because we have gas pressure on the Earth, and the antecedent or requirement for gas pressure is a container. So simply, we know that the Earth is a topographical plane and that all the water is level, that the Earth is contained, and that the Earth is stationary, that the Earth does not move, only the sky moves over top. So that's the fundamental breakdown.
So I'm guessing you guys know about the Big Bang Theory, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys believe in it? That's kind of my point.
No, none of us believe in the Big Bang Theory. It was actually proposed by a Catholic priest. It was proposed by a Catholic, so it's ironic that all the atheists love it.
Yeah.
But so the Big Bang actually says there was a pre-existing energy. So it actually just kicks the can down the road and still invokes a God, which is why it was proposed by a Catholic priest. But long story short, it's just an idea that makes no sense whatsoever. Everything can't come from nothing. It's purely speculative. Almost half of astronomy doesn't even agree with that anymore. So it's like people, well, that might be a little high because of the cosmic microwave background. People are starting to leave it. So anyway, just the idea that everything came from nothing, a singularity, and then expanded in all directions. It's literally just the best theory someone could come up with. It's called Big Bang because someone named Fred Hoyle, a very infamous astronomer, called it that as a derogatory term, like the Big Bang, like very remedial. So no, none of us believe in that, and there's not even evidence for it. and they can't even decide if it's expanding or contracting or why it's expanding way too fast. It's not even agreed on what that even means. Yeah, it's just pseudoscience.
Yeah,
So
can I add to that as well? There's all these kind of like ideas as which it just laid out, that when you get more into the details, like for instance, how did the moon get here? Right? I don't know if you've heard about the story behind how we have a moon.
yeah,
You've heard of Thea and the kind of.
actually no, I haven't heard about this like before.
Okay, fine. So if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's like giant impact theory or great impact theory, something like this. And they basically say that a big rock hit the Earth, and then a little piece of, I forget if it's a piece of the Earth broke off and formed into the moon, or if a piece of, was it that? Yeah. Okay. And so then, oh yeah, of course, because that's their excuse as to why the rocks that come down were similar. Yeah. Okay. So a piece of the Earth kind of breaks off and then forms this moon, which just happens to be the same angular size as our sun. Total coincidence, not. And then it just happens that we can only see one face of this moon, even though had it been breaking off, it would presumably have some kind of motion of its own. There's no friction in space. There's no reason for it to have slowed down at all. There's all of these anomalies that completely how do I even say? They're just, you can't make good excuses for these things, but they just tell you that they're true anyway, or at least that they're theories. But the one thing I would say is look into the rocks that were allegedly brought back from the moon and the excuses as to why they have similar makeup as the Earth rocks. And it's because of this theory. This is one of the kind of prevailing theories as to how the moon got there. It's complete nonsense. It's completely unverifiable, but they tell you with a straight face that it's likely.
Yeah. So
Facing. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
No, okay. I was going to say is you'll see that the reoccurring theme is that even though we're put off as crazy for not believing the science, most people don't even know what it is they're talking about or what the quote unquote science is. And one example is what he just told you, is that the Mars-sized body hit the Earth, exchanged energy to its core, broke it up in a bunch of pieces, but then turned back into a perfect sphere. And then one of the rocks out of the thousands decided to stick around, also turned into a sphere because gravity coalesced it over millions and billions of years. And then it stopped right where it needed to where it looks like it's the same size as the sun, even though it's actually 1/400th the size and diameter of the sun. It just coincidentally stopped at 1/400th the distance, also purely random. So it looks like they're the same size, and that the moon locked perfectly with the Earth. And if it was going 1/4 a mile per hour faster or slower, then we'd see the rest of it. But it just stopped right there where it needed to look like the sun size and the perfect speed and mass so that we never see the other side of it. And basically, we're just basically calling bullshit. So we're not actually crazy people that don't just believe science. We just don't believe in like nonsense. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, so I'd like to ask you guys, like, why? One thing I've never understood about flat Earth theory and globe versus flat Earth, right? Is why exactly do you guys like? I don't, this is gonna sound kind of like this isn't like meant to be mean, but why exactly do you guys necessarily care? But if that doesn't, I don't want to say it like that, but like, why
Okay.
does it matter? I can't really
That's
say
a
this.
good question. It's a good question. Yeah. So this is the answer, right? If the Earth is, which it provably is a plane or flat and stationary, right? Then that would mean it's called geocentric, meaning that the Earth is the center. So if the Earth is the center of everything that moves in the sky, it's the center of everything, then it would have had to be placed, because like there's no other way. Like random chaotic happenstance could not place the Earth in the center of everything that moves around it. Like everything that moves around it, right? So one reason that it definitely matters is it throws atheism out as even like viable. So it forced a bunch of us to kind of swallow our pride and be like, well, it does look like the Earth may have been created. And so that's a big reason. So why else does it matter? Like they drew a circle around us called the 60th south latitude, and it's illegal to privately explore past. right? So if you've ever seen the Hunger Games and they keep everyone locked up, literally like in their little section, that's what they've done. And this is whether the Earth's a globe or not. There's a circle around us. But the reason it's important is because on a flat Earth, there could be a lot more stuff outside of that circle. And on a globe, they know exactly what it is. It's just an abandoned ice cap on the bottom of the ball. There's nothing for you to see. So they've literally shut off part of the world and put us in a little place. And you can't go to the North Pole either. You can't just privately explore the North Pole or towards the quote unquote South. So that's a fundamentally huge reason. Right? They've literally like told us we're not allowed to freely explore the Earth. And of course, I could go forever, but NASA gets $60 million a day. And if they're lying about going to space and just showing us cartoons, they're getting $60 million every day of our hard-earned money to deceive us and to lie to us and to give us propaganda, which is unacceptable. Of course, the government always does that, but that's not really the point. And then fourthly, like from the age of like 5 up, you've been told this idea. So like they don't give us an option. They don't say, well, look, here's the 2 options. Here's what the evidence is. Here's what we can prove or not prove. They just tell you it's a fact that the Earth's spinning. And so you grow up thinking that, oh, this magic thing, gravity, holds me to a ball. I can't understand it. I can't trust my senses. I see the sun and the moon move. But actually, the sun and the moon aren't moving. During the sunset, I'm falling backwards 1,000 miles per hour. And it just makes the sun look like moving. And then, oh, I can't feel like I'm moving, but I am actually spinning 1,000 miles per hour. And I never see the stars change, but we're shooting through space millions of miles per hour. And so, when I never see the Earth curving, I see I see horizons that are horizontal, but it is curving. So it has a drastic implication on you psychologically, where you can't trust your own senses, and you have to always turn to an authority to tell you how to interpret the world. And so there's like four or five
Yeah.
pretty substantial reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
can I answer the question a slightly different way? I just wanted to say that what you asked Witsit there was kind of an unintentional straw man. And what I mean by that is we don't really care about the shape. Like we care that the shape is being lied about. So
Yeah.
it's the lie that matters to all of us, not specific. Like we're not just like, oh, I like flat things more than round things, right? It's not like a personal preference. Like we care that there's a serious lie that's happened there, and for all of the reasons which it named and more, truth matters.
So the main reasoning is the lie, right? So you guys heard of the Matrix? I'm most definitely guessing you guys have heard of the Matrix, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the Matrix, right? A lot of people say, I want to, take the red pill, right? Oh, red pill, right? I want to know what the reality is, right? So my question is, the reason why I ask, does it matter, right? It's because if we've never known anything, like if you say you're in a space where you don't know any better or know anything, right? And you start to speculate and you start to make, you start to make judgments or, like why the government's lying to us? The government's lying to us, which everybody knows the government lies to us, right?
Can I ask you something simple?
She's talking.
Yeah. So in a second, like just right after this, I'm sorry, but like my question would be like, if you are in a space where you don't know a certain thing and you speculate whether or not something is real. Say for example, the Earth is flat. The Earth or reality or whatever. The Earth is flat, and you guys get your money back and stuff like that. What does that change, in your opinion? Like, what would that change?
Yeah, I just explained one of the major ones that changes is it means there has to be some type of design to the Earth, like it had to be placed there, and that changes everything. And what does it change on a personal level? Well, that's got to be arguably one of the biggest things that one could ever discover in life is like the fact that where they live is undoubtedly created and there's no scientific way around it. So that's a pretty big answer. In addition, I actually know how to interpret the world. So when I go look at meteor showers, I know they're not random rocks shooting in all directions and they all go one direction because they're just a cycle of electricity in the sky effectively. I know that when I see the sunset, the sun's moving. I can actually understand the sunset and understand what's going on. Whenever the news tells me an asteroid's about to come hit the Earth, I don't even lose 1 ounce of sleep because I know that's not real. that's not even real. When they tell me that the ice caps are going to melt and everyone's going to drown, I know that's not real. I know there aren't ice caps on a ball. So there's all kinds of fear and propaganda. And what it really does is it makes you step outside of their blue pill version of reality and realize that there's something far different going on. And then you get to know the truth. You get to start understanding and putting pieces together that you've been deceived. And I would say that truth and understanding, those are probably like the most important aspects of life, arguably.
Yeah, so even still, I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around this a bit better. So you get truth, you get to know the truth and you can understand things better. Now, even then, like I said, even if we figure out that, the world is flat and that they're kind of keeping us in a certain hole, will you still be able to travel over the Antarctica? Like, you be able to travel further? Will
Well,
you?
if everyone figured it out, then maybe we could demand that we're allowed to do so. But when 99% of people are basically adhering to what you're effectively saying, which is what's it really matter, kind of like kind of nihilist, right? Kind of like nihilism, like nothing matters. Then no, we would never figure it out. That's why we do this. We don't want to convert people to flat Earth, because honestly, if you can't understand it and be honest enough to be real about the info, we don't really want to hang out with you anyway. But it's just the fact that not you specifically, of course. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
But we just want everyone to have a fair opportunity to make their own decision. That's literally it. We want everyone to see the information that's been hidden from us, to see what the evidence is, maybe go test it for themselves instead of just believing it, and then we're fine. And it's just that 5-year-olds are being brainwashed with this idea. 5-year-olds are being brainwashed with this idea, and that's not okay. Everyone has the right to be accurately informed and make an informed decision. I mean, that's basically a war crime, right? Basically not allowing informed consent. We have the right to we have the right to know the truth, and so we're fighting that everyone gets to make their own fair determination, as opposed to one out of ignorance and conformity and distraction.
Yeah. So not necessarily. Well, nihilism isn't exactly the right term, really, but I get what you're saying. So like I said, if it is so, and how do I phrase this the right way without asking the same question? Yeah, the quote unquote brainwashing that the Earth is a globe. The Earth is a globe. You don't get any other choice or decision. And that this. Oh my God, my grandma's calling me. I'm so sorry. What the hell? Just give me a second. Okay, no, I'm just gonna finish this. Yeah, so that the Earth is a globe and things like that, and it's that my question is, even though we know the government has rule over a lot of things and everything, and even if, oh my God, I was gonna say something. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at wording myself.
It's all good. It's you're kind of asking the same thing again, right? Even if you figure out, then what's it going to change for you? What does it do? What's it of value? What's going to happen from it? Why does it matter? What's the actual point in fighting all this for? What? What's the goal? And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's an individual journey, and you figure out the truth, and then you go from there. There's a lot of things that would happen that would make the world better if people figured it out. For one, we wouldn't be little slaves in a circle. We're literally in a Hunger Games on Earth.
All
what
right.
a joke. I think that's really sad. So it's an individual journey. You're going to have to, let me just say this. The first step is to figure out if they lied, not to figure out why would they lie. Well, what would it change if they did lie? What does it matter? It just figure out if they lied. If your boyfriend cheats on you and I have a video of him cheating on you, you're not going to say, I'm not looking at the evidence until you can tell me why he would lie, because I do all his laundry and cook all his food, and he said he loves me and his parents love me. He would never cheat. Why would he even do that? Why would I even care that you say that? There's no way. Well, you could just look at the evidence, figure out that they lied, and then you can go from there. You can choose to stay with the lie. You can choose to ignore the evidence or whatever. You can try to figure out why he cheated on you. But the first step is always just to look at the evidence honestly without bias and figure out what the truth is and then go from there. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah, of course. I meant before I have to go in like a few seconds, but I'll be back. But before I go real quick, yeah, so my last question would be real quick is I just want to ask, like, um, oh my god, I always just lose my fucking thoughts. I can't. This is so annoying. Oh my god, wait.
Hey, talk to your grandma, and the things will come back. Just speak to your grandmommy, and then come back.
All
She
right.
was calling you.
Tell her the
I-
earth's flat.
All
I
right.
can help you. I can help you with one question.
Shut up, Sasha.
I can help him with one question.
Him?
She said she
I
has a
think
call
that's
from
it.
her grandmother.
That's a
He's
good
on the
thing,
phone.
Sasha.
Just
I think-
wait till she's back.
Yeah, but if he wants.
Yeah, by the way, everyone, I'm actually, just from my experience, kind of like addressing these overarching things is the actual path that wakes people up. Like that just, everyone else can do it their own way. If you're kind of getting triggered that I didn't just like jump in and say, radius. I'm just from my experience, which is anecdotal, it's like, it's actually, if you're honest, it's reasonable to ask some of these questions. Like it's reasonable. Like people were kind of confused when they first heard flat earth. Like it's confusing. Like you don't even know how to take it in at first. It's just so off the wall and kind of confusing. So like
Dare you
it's not
not
about
to
winning
speak
a
about a
debate.
thing that doesn't exist? What's it? How dare you not to speak about something that doesn't exist? You know, like the radius of the ball.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's where I was about to lead her to, but I just, like in the real world, when people come up to me, like when I was out there doing activism or afterwards, because normally they'll wait for the camera to go off to come up to me, and like just having the real chill conversation with people where I explain and I look in their eyes and they can feel that I'm being sincere. That's just like a really big lie, and it changes how we look at the world and etc. Like that's what really resonates with people, because if you don't get past that like barrier they have, dude, you can just slap them in the head with the R value all
Hold
day.
on. Hey,
but
stop
it's
talking.
not-
Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. How do you have gas pressure without a container? How do you have gas pressure without a container?
Recently I
No,
I
but
obviously did that. I obviously did that for dramatic effect to prove a point.
yeah, you did. Recently I
If you
spoke to
have
two
that
family
tempo,
members.
James,
My bad,
I
I know
want
you
to
were-
say I
Oh,
want to say
can
my
AI? Come on, guys. We don't need to talk over each other. AI, do you want to finish?
I was just saying, like when you're having that heart-to-heart type thing and someone's being led, the most inappropriate thing to do is just jump in with an interjective question that's off the topic thread or the string of logic.
Absolutely.
You're just going to defeat all the work that was done, usually.
Yep.
Yeah, to which point on that point, I recently I spoke to two family members, and I didn't mention flat earth. I just spoke about water level, containment, and I just brought them to a simple conversation. And then the curvature of the earth, they realize it's not there. They never seen it. They never experienced it. The movement of the earth, they never experienced it. Just talking about basic stuff like water level and that kind of stuff. They just realize it in their own, basically.
because he doesn't want to ask this question. What is that information? What are you telling that you have, for other people? And then with it, like what is that information? What with it has it's all the times saying about. I have information about flat but we are not coming to that information. Nobody want to ask what is that information? What you have that you think that Earth is flat, and nobody's asking that question.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that I noticed first when I was kind of answering a lot of questions, is that people don't, they ask some weird straw man or some kind of half gotcha question or like a loaded question. Like they don't come with the, so why do you think it's flat? Don't think I've ever heard that. Which is kind of odd. Like they might ask you, sorry, just to elaborate on that, they might ask you like, how did you get into flat Earth? But they'll never actually say specifically what is the evidence. They just like it's like you have to force them to ask that question, which is really weird.
Well, that's exactly why I like those 3 points, because if you strike up a conversation with someone about the subject, and you do so by asking them the 3 points, I mean, they pretty much have to on purpose try to avoid, focusing on the evidence. They have to be full retard to not focus on the evidence if you're just asking the 3-point questions, because then they'll just focus on the evidence. If they're gonna ever get it, they'll get it then. If they don't get it then, they'll probably never get it.
Like, yeah, I like the 3 questions. It's a good approach. Like, yeah, just from my personal experience, it's more like macro ideas. Like geocentrism does work really well. Like, if you've ever heard the idea that actually the Earth is the center and everything moves around, like that works really well. What you'll find out is you don't have to ever say the word flat Earth. It's like even with the 3 questions, same thing. If you're just asking about the globe Earth, they'll always bring flat Earth up. Like, you don't ever have to say it. I'm talking about in the real world. Like, this is a flat Earth server, but I do encourage people to talk to people in their real life. Like, even if it's just people they're kind of close to or work with or anything like that. Yeah, everyone's different. Everyone has, like, I can come off a bit assertive at times, and so like I have this own little realm where I have to work my personality into talking to people, and I think everyone's going to be a little different.
Yeah, so I've discovered with the 3-point questions and asking them to people, but without ever saying the words flat Earth while asking them the 3-point questions, I've come to the realization that it's not the subject of flat Earth that, scares people and pisses them off. It's just questioning the globe that scares them and pisses them off.
Yeah, questioning accepted reality for sure. It makes people uncomfortable.
All right, I'm
That's
back.
the real. Hi.
So I was thinking about it while I was doing my chores and stuff. So my question was supposed to be, oh, actually, I don't. Okay, wait.
No, Joe, do you want I can help you with one question. Then you can go with all other questions.
Right, yeah. I have a lot of questions. I'm like,
I can help you with first one, and you can go really. After
yeah.
that one, you can go. Okay, ask these guys, anyone here, why they know or think that Earth is flat, and what is that information what they have.
Yeah, yeah, that's my first question, really.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good first question, right? Because that's what it all comes down to, the evidence. So this is why the Earth supposedly has a radius value. So the distance from the center to the edge, like a line drawn from the center to the edge of a circle or a sphere, 3,959 miles. Okay, so anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's just a number. It's a specific number. And so that means that the Earth has to curve at a certain rate if it's that big. So you can actually go out and you can measure the Earth and test the Earth to see if it curves at that rate, right? Because it's just geometry. If it's a sphere, then the ground has to curve at a certain rate. And, they tell us that's what boats disappear over. They say that boats go off in the distance and then go behind the curve of the Earth so we can't see them. So there should be a curve, right? So based on how high off the ball you are, that's how far away you'll see the curve. Because as you get higher, you can see further, right? So, like, for example, if I'm 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, I should see the curvature of the Earth at 1 mile away, 1.2 miles away, specifically. So what we did, we went out and actually made measurements and tested for ourselves using lasers or, P900 high zoom cameras, etc. And we found out that radius value that they claimed literally cannot be true. We falsified the radius value. And that's when really the rubber hits the road, if you will. Because if that number is wrong, which it is, we proved it's wrong. If that number is wrong, the entire model is also wrong because every part of the model uses that number. So this is really, if we want to find out if it's actually a globe or if it's flat, we need to go straight to testing the R value because that's going to answer the whole question. Well, we did. I almost fell off my. So we did that, and like I said, we falsified it. I give you an example. We saw mountains from 273 miles away. And based on our height, if the Earth was a ball, the mountains in the distance should have been blocked by 3 vertical miles of Earth curvature. 3 miles in the air should have blocked the mountain. But we can see the mountains all the way to the shore from almost 300 miles away. They should be behind 3 vertical miles of Earth curvature, though.
Okay, so yeah. Another question I'd want to ask you guys is, what are your thoughts on like the videos on TikTok of like NASA astronauts, like in space? Like I don't know how to explain this. I think I might just have a video, but yeah, like
One better question. Also, from did you acknowledge that what Vitsi told you now? Did you acknowledge?
Yeah.
yes,
I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back. So to answer your question, so we don't believe stories from NASA because, like I said, if you really look into the moon landing, it becomes really sketchy. And they were founded with Nazis. And in fact, the first person put in charge of space exploration for NASA was an SS officer of the Nazi regime named Werner von Braun. They've notoriously lied. We've caught them with air bubbles in space. We've caught them changing all kinds of their stories. We've caught them photoshopping the Earth in a picture, and then we call them out. Then they take it out. They change articles as we call them out. They've just constantly shown that they're dishonest and not trustworthy as a source. And of course, the government is notorious for lying, as you alluded to earlier. So if the government is notorious for lying, and then this is an agency within the federal government, and we've already caught them being dishonest, and it was founded with Nazis who were famous for propagandizing and lying to masses of people, we don't take anything that they say seriously at all, right? So we don't consider that evidence at all. It's unverifiable from the government, and that's not real evidence. So that's what we think about it. But none of that's going to change my first part. Like I said, the whole conversation boils down to the radius value. Like, there is no skating. Like, you can try to skate past it, I guess. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to have like a serious debate with you. I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, individually, you can choose to just try to ignore, but it's going to go nowhere. And the whole conversation comes down to that. So the first question that you actually need to actually answer honestly is, if the Earth were flat, would you want to know?
Honestly, I to be honest, for me, like I said, I don't really like, how do I say this? I don't really care about the curvature. I don't like, me personally, I don't care what the Earth's shape is, right? But I do care about, trying to see and understand how other people conceptualize their beliefs on the Earth or whatever it is. Because I already know the government lies, right? I already know the government. I don't even believe in a lot of things NASA says. I am very skeptical about. Like, for example, dark matter. What the fuck is that?
They don't know.
But like, yeah, like a lot of things, I am also skeptical, right? I'm very skeptical about a lot of things, and it's, for me, I don't really like, even if the Earth is flat, the sphere, a donut, whatever the fuck, right? My real like objective in talking to you guys and stuff like that is just seeing how other people
to understand our perspective.
Yeah, just to understand your perspective and why, like, globists and flat earthers argue so much about this in general. And I know that, like, people don't like to know, like, they don't like to know that that the government's lying. But when they do find out the government's lying, there is an uproar, right? There is a anger that comes with it, and people start to go down certain paths that get a little crazy and stuff like that. I'm not talking about like flat Earth. Past flat Earth,
Okay. Real fast. Let me just. Okay. So all I asked though was, like, if it was flat, would you want to know? And basically, I could have just paraphrased the question and said, if you were lied to from childhood, including everyone that's close to you that you love, were all lied to and lied to about where they live and what the Earth actually is, where they live, and then not allowed to explore that Earth or know what it really is, would you want to know?
Not really. Like I said, I don't really care. Like I really, really.
Okay.
If the government told me
Okay.
one day, guys, we actually are living in a simulation, I'd be like, okay. But still,
You're waiting something like this. Listen, we killed all these people. We are sorry, but we could not say that 1991. We are telling now 2040, but we killed them all. It was only 100,000, but sorry, we will be good now.
What are you talking about?
Anyway, you remember when earlier you kind of corrected my use of the word nihilism? Well,
Yeah.
I didn't properly use that word because specifically as it comes to the earth lie, materialism would be a better word. But I actually sensed nihilism, which is why I said it. And you just point blank, exhibited nihilism when you said you really just could care less or you don't care at all, and you use other language to describe that. So it's like, that's nihilism, bro. I'm just trying to explain to you that nihilism is bad, because if you want to have a slave state of people that can't think for themselves and can't innovate and can't improve society or even establish sustainability long term, if you want controllable flocks of people that are brainwashed and just watch like 30-second clips all day long and can't think for themselves, you would really want them to have a view of materialism and nihilism, because if nothing matters, then what's it matter? It's much easier to have a slave state whenever the slaves are apathetic.
Yeah, so the reason why I said that your idea of nihilism wasn't really pertaining to what I was saying is because, like, the definition of nihilism would be either extreme skepticism, maintaining that nothing in this world has existence, or the rejection of all religions' moral principle in the beliefs that life is meaningless, right? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not saying that none of this matters. This is all stupid. This is all meaningless. I give up, right? I'm not saying none of that. What I'm saying is that the specific subject of whether or not, this right here, and also this subject right here really matters. That's what I was really asking, right?
This right here? Sorry.
I'm sorry. But yeah.
So.
But also another thing, what you said nihilism is bad, and I'm not necessarily a nihilist, but I want to understand, what is you guys' definition of, what is you guys' morality? Like, what are you basing on what is bad or what is good?
Right. So none of us have a monolith.
I was waiting for quite a while. I wanted to get in with a specific question for Joy, if that's okay. I don't know if you don't mind. Just basically, I wanted to ask you. You said that you don't trust the government or anything. I don't know then why your default is that you trust them that the Earth's a globe.
I mean, like, in general, like, if, like I said, like, if I don't, a lot of things, like, certain things I don't believe with the government, right? I don't believe. But there are some I can believe. Like, I'm not saying I don't trust them all.
I have one question for the young lady, and then I'll shut up, because I know.
Yeah, but she hasn't finished answering the one I just asked. So why don't you let that happen first? And I have a follow-up question, and then I'll shut up, because I was waiting for a while. That's all. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, I was just pretty much saying, like, in general, like, for some things, like, I don't believe, like, there are some things in general that I don't believe. Like, I'm a vegan, so, like, a lot of things that, the government and science tells me, I'm often keen to reject. But when it comes to the globe, like the globe Earth theory, or the flat Earth theory, whatever, I've just heard better arguments about the globe Earth theory than I have about flat Earth theory. So I more or less am inclined to believe that. But if there are flat Earth theories that, if there is like good arguments that I hear in this server, then I most definitely can change my mind. Either way, the shape of the Earth in my mind, it can be anything. It could be a fucking glob of mustard, and I really wouldn't care. Yeah.
So my quick follow-up question, and then I'll yield. Do you know what anchor bias is?
No.
Okay, so anchor bias is the tendency for humans to believe the first thing that they were told over the second thing and beyond. Do you think you might be suffering from some sort of anchor bias with regards to the Earth shape?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, but at the same time, like I said, obviously this is probably some sort of anchor bias, right? It may be some sort, but at the same time, like I said, I'm completely open to changing my mind. If I hear better arguments or things like that, I'm completely open, and that's why I came here, so I can get a better look at other perspectives, right? Like, yeah, this is probably anchor bias, but I do want to, expand my knowledge on these things. So yeah,
Okay,
like
fair enough.
I don't want
I
to, I don't want to
sorry.
guys that's like crazy or anything like that. Like I don't want to do that. Like
Oh no, I know I'm not crazy. I've been tested.
yeah, yeah. I've been called a crazy vegan before. I know what
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
to feel
It's
like,
fine.
your opinions are just being shadowed and stuff like that. But yeah,
I think most people here are just numb to it now because it's like that the people calling you crazy are just ignorant, so it doesn't matter.
yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to say, yeah, I enjoyed talking to you, but I'll yield now.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, I'm vegan too, so good on you.
Oh, that's
Hey,
good. That's good.
Crypto, I'm really sorry, man. I got to work on stepping on people. You all know that I have to do that, so I apologize.
All good.
So
All good.
what else I say? Oh, I like who I'm speaking with. Sorry, I don't have the thing pulled up.
No, not Joy.
Not Joy. Okay, I really like the way you think and the way that you're coming about. Like presenting yourself to this information to us. I think it's respectable, and I think that you really, you're on the right track, and that's nice to hear. And you sound really honest, and we don't get a lot of that from Globers here. So anyway, the question I wanted to ask though, because it's really loud at my place right now. The question is, and I guess it's rhetorical, but if there is an answer, I would like to hear it, but I'm pretty sure we all know the answer. And it's about the government lying. So how many lies does it take to make a liar?
I mean, I believe the government's already a liar. I believe the government's already.
So they could be lying about other stuff than the things you've already caught them in a lie about, right?
Yeah, like when it comes to like a liar, right? I've met many liars in my I think we all have. And I know that I can be very like I said, I'm very shaky. You're very shaky with a liar, right? You're not very sure as to what they say. So you look up the evidence for yourself and you figure it out for yourself. And that is what I did with the government. I look at the evidence as I got older and tried to see which opinion I agree with the most. And I guess I believed I agree with the opinion, like the government's opinion the most, right? Because quote unquote, oh, I'm eating bread. Sorry, sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, but when it comes to the government being a fucking liar, I always make decisions based on if someone tells me, hey, the government said this, that shit's a lie as hell. I'd be like, oh, okay, let me go look up some stuff about that. But yeah, sorry, that was
No, that was a great response. Thank you so much. And one last thing. Oh man, I had it.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I was listening to you and then I forgot it. Which means I was actually listening.
Yeah, do the same thing. Don't worry.
Hey, well, I might figure it out later. So go ahead. I do yield the floor. Thanks.
Government's making program for education, and in that program, we have the globe where water is curving. The problem is when you go into reality, that water, what government teaching you, doesn't curve. That's the point.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in general, like, how the way I think about it, right, is if the government lies about every single thing, every gosh darn thing, right?
So here's a list of steps real quick. What about 9/11? 9/11. You think that happened?
Yeah.
The way they say it happened?
Well, I'm very skeptical about that, but the event did take place. But I'm
Yo, can I cut in here?
No.
Heck no.
You gotta be a little more specific than that, Fraud.
Well, I'm a New Yorker. That's
why I asked her. Does she believe it the way it happened? The way they say it happened? That's what I was asking.
Well, here, Fraud. Let me help you with a specific example. So part of the 9/11 story, the official story, is that these legible, like readable and actual, identifiable passports fell out from the buildings or the airplanes as they were burning up, and they landed on the street in Manhattan, and that somebody picked them up, and they were the passports of the terrorists who hijacked the airplane. So do you think that the terrorists who hijacked the airplane had their passports not burned up but fell to the ground? Someone found them? That's the official story.
Yeah, I think that's goofy. I don't know how. That's so odd. Like, if there was, so when the plane hits the fucking towers, it's an explosion. Like, and the first impact that would happen would be I believe the cockpit, which was, unless I'm incorrect on that, but I believe the cockpit was the first thing that hit the towers. But if I'm wrong,
Look at live stream voice text.
It's the nose. The nose of the plane supposedly hits first, and obviously the cockpit and all that follows. Fuselage, etc.
yeah. So my point is, like, how actually, let me just ask you guys this question first. What do you guys believe?
Sorry.
What do you guys?
Sorry,
believe?
Joey, just before you move on, Davey wanted to get in and he didn't have the opportunity, so maybe Davey can get in on this one.
Yes, go on.
Well, yeah, only because I'm a New Yorker. I was 12 years old when it happened. I remember it like yesterday. Honestly, what I believe is it was a demolition job. Okay, if you just look at how the buildings collapsed, obvious demolition. Okay, and what's it called? Just look at Building 7, bro. How do you think Building 7 collapsed? It was a demolition job. So, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. I just.
And I'm saying that as a New Yorker, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like if I told any other New Yorker that, they'd be like, they go crazy. So,
yeah,
that's my, that's what I think.
I think that like a lot of the stuff, but a lot of like major events that happen or occur within history can be very falsified by the government, most definitely. And that's why I'm even skeptical about even the moon landing, right? Like, but the thing is, I want to be open to these. I remember getting high as fuck once and then thinking like, is the Earth actually just like a plate or some shit? And I was like, damn, I got to get more into this. So like, but yeah, like, I mean, pretty much my thing is like, probably the reason why I believe the Earth is a globe pretty much is I've seen better arguments for it. But I'm pretty sure I'll see good arguments here too. So,
well, I don't think that you really heard a fair argument then. If I'm being honest.
Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Okay. Oh, I'm just saying, if you think that the globe has better arguments, then you just haven't really heard a good flat Earth debate yet. So
oh yeah, definitely. I probably haven't.
You just haven't looked at the evidence that Whitsitt was talking about.
Yeah.
You tend to breeze over a lot of things that he said without actually taking. No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just how it works, right?
But I definitely.
If you look at the radius and how if something's shaped like a basketball, it has to have curvature, right? So if you look at that intensively, and subjectively, objectively, and take your time, you will find out, well, okay, this is some really damning evidence. That one piece of evidence, just the curvature, is enough to throw the whole thing off kilter. Just that one piece.
I just want to say, it's kind of like you read my mind because you mentioned it again. I wanted to ask you, since you think there are some good globe arguments, can you recite one that you think is good or that you think is the best globe argument?
Yeah, recite, most definitely not. I have a bad memory, but I do know, like I said, I like Professor Dave and stuff, and mostly the best argument I've heard in general is when the quote unquote Big Bang Theory happens, right? When things are clashing in the universe and things like that, it tends to roll. Things tend to roll around. And when things clash together, roll around, you will sooner or less get something very similar to a sphere. And that's the thing. I believe in the Big Bang Theory, and that's the main reason why I'm more inclined to believe that theory. Is it makes more sense that the universe, like gravity in general, would like things roll, right? Things roll when they're being clashed into. Cars will flip over and roll when these things are. Now, this is probably a goofy argument
Oh,
because I
Yeah,
can't really.
this is why you need to understand gas pressure laws.
Well, no, wait, no. What I'm saying in general is this is the main thing I heard, what like one of the main things I've heard in general. But there's probably more. I probably think I might make a list of things, a list of things, a list of
Yeah,
arguments.
you need to look into the 3 points. You just need to look into the three. Somebody needs to really explain that to her so that she can.
Yeah,
So,
we can do that a little bit
hold
later.
on.
I'll just sorry, go on. Aaron. I'll go.
We could just address what she said in the present moment instead of wondering and speculating about other things that are ancillary or secondary. Right?
And you going to address the Big Bang Theory?
Oh,
Well, if we can
absolutely.
Yeah, I have a question about it.
Well, we did earlier actually. To be fair, she asked about it earlier, but Witsit kind of gave an answer. I don't know if it's worth going over that same ground again or not, but.
But yeah, he was talking about the people that came up with it, but I had a question about it itself.
Okay.
I mean, it's just something to think about. I mean, when have you ever observed anything coming from nothing?
Okay, I didn't interrupt to yield the floor to you. Capiche?
I thought this is what you were describing to do.
Well, do you want to go ahead
Try
or
to talk about it? Yeah, fair. You took it as I said, go ahead and do that.
Yo, shit's going down.
But the main point about the thing about the Big Bang and this idea that things roll around, that's not even how they explain it in the Big Bang Theory. They use the term gravitational accretion, which is the particles after a certain amount of time started to gravitate towards each other. Now, the problem is that they tried to model this and they couldn't get it to work. They had to add an additional factor that isn't found in physics. They called it the stickiness factor.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this idea that you hold to is speculation at best. It's not a good argument at all. So I yield the floor back to my friends.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Dude came in earlier as well and wanted to get involved. And it's to do with something that Witsit said earlier that kind of glues what you said and what Dude said. Now, what Dude was talking about was the moon landings, and I said, you know, the moon landings are kind of low level for what we talk about here. But the one interesting thing about the moon landings is that, in my opinion, it gave them an excuse to have a picture of the Earth as a ball in the first place. Because before then, like in the 30s, right, you used to be able to watch like a Universal Studios film or whatever, and they've got a perfect ball shape. But of course, they couldn't tell you in the 30s, oh yeah, we went up to space and took a picture, because they hadn't landed on the moon at that point. So that would have been a very obvious lie. So they had to kind of stage this event where they went up there and, oh yeah, it turns out that we were right all along. But what's really interesting about that is two things. First of all, when you look at the Universal Studios, and I don't know if someone's got a meme of that, but when you look at the Universal Studios globe, it virtually perfectly resembles the globe that they only allegedly took a picture of like 30, 40 years later. So, I mean, how would they have known? How could they have known? And the answer is they can't have known. It's ridiculous. They've taken the model and made like a studio model in the 20s and 30s or whenever it was, and then they've just made the same model to present to you later on as a quote-unquote photo from space. That's all that's happened. They just needed an event excuse for that to then present it to you as fact.
Yeah, so I don't really know necessarily a lot about the earlier stages of like space travel. Not necessarily. The main thing that I don't know about is I just didn't understand as a young kid how they were able to like get to the moon, but they were still having issues even making a fucking laptop, like, or a computer. Like, how was it even possible?
Great point. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's something that kind of confused me for a very long time. And Another thing
Did you
is,
take the word of an astronaut? How about a word of an astronaut concerning your concern that you just had right there?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said there's an astronaut who had the exact same concern you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so his name was
Mhm.
Gus Grissom, and he's on the record saying that the technology that they possessed at the time was not sufficient to get them to the moon, and that the idea they would get to the moon and be able to communicate or even survive is ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right? And guess what happened to him?
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he got suicided.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to ask you guys, is what is your? I think I've heard it so far, but I just want to make sure I'm clear of this. What is the strongest argument other than the
We
rate?
falsified the radius. No, there's no other than. It's just different versions of falsifying the radius. Like I said, if the R value is wrong, the whole model's wrong. Why would we look anywhere other than that? That's what everything's built on. Like to claim that you're going to space, you need a radius of orbit. To get gravity, you need the radius. To get the day-night cycle, you need the radius. To get the seasons, you need the radius. To do the mass, you need the radius. To do all the orbital trajectories, you need the radius. Like everything's about that. Everything, including how you map anything onto some conceptual model of a globe. It's all about the R value. I told you one where we saw mountains that should be blocked by 3 vertical miles of Earth curvature, but we could see the mountains all the way to the beach shoreline. So we have 2 options. Either we're seeing the mountains just as they are, where they are, or it's actually lifted up optically 3 vertical miles and then stops right where it would to look flat. And it looks exactly like it really would.
Yeah, I feel like an argument against this one. I was like, I think, okay. So, do you guys know like the Mirage argument, like about like?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. That's what I was telling you. Like the 2 options is the globe's option is that the mountains were lifted, like you said, like a mirage, basically, like optically lifted up in the air, and there was an illusion where it looked like the mountains were directly in front of us, and the Earth was flat, but it's actually 3 miles below the Earth curve. That's the answer. So just saying that doesn't mean anything. That's why the people that actually go do it for themselves are really the ones that definitely become flat earthers. Because you go and you see stuff in the distance and you're like, that's not a mirage. I'm just looking at it. So, you know.
Can I present a hypothetical for you, not Joy, just to kind of crystallize this whole refraction argument for you?
Yes, please.
Right.
Yes.
Let's just say that I was telling you a story, and then you looked at the story and you were like, oh, well, for that story to be true, then my friend who can run really fast must have run a mile in 3 seconds, right? And then you concluded that because your friend can run fast, that he must have run that mile in 3 seconds. Would that be logical? Or would you be saying to yourself, hold on, no one can run that fast?
Yeah, I try to, understand.
Yeah, you'd say no one can run that fast. So when they say that refraction is doing all these things, they're not actually proving it. They're not demonstrating it. They're not showing you. They're just saying light bends, therefore light is bending at the rate we require it to at all times. Do you understand how those two are very different statements?
I know that our eyes, aren't necessarily fully valuable sources of information at a time.
But I'm not talking about eyes at the moment. I'm actually just talking about the nature of light, and this gets much more complicated. And there are people who debate this to a much higher level than I can. But I'm just trying to get you to understand the logic, right? So the logic is what's important here. So
the logic is that them telling us that that the light bends at this specific rate at this specific time.
So
than it being, right in front of us, like that. Is that what you're trying?
Well, it's like as Witsit said. It's like everyone agrees that it's possible for light to do all sorts of weird things, right? But it happens within like a range, and what they're effectively asking for is a limitless range of what light can do, how it can bend, how it can act.
Literally.
But without actually proving that that's the case, right? So this is why I brought in the friend running a mile in 3 seconds. Like, we know people can run fast, but it's like there's like the quickest runners of all time can run at about 10 to 11 meters per second, right?
Yeah. So
They can't run at 100 meters a second or 300 meters. Like, so you have to consider reality when they're making these arguments like refraction. That's not actually an argument because they haven't quantified anything. They've just presented an idea and then said, because I already know I'm on a globe, therefore the light is bending in the way I require it to. They haven't actually made an argument. It's called sophistry.
Oh yeah, go on.
Well, no, just do you understand this point?
Yeah, I get what he's saying, right? When it comes, like, we, instead of, like, looking farther into it, we, are like, okay, well, this is what it says, and this is what it is.
Right. Like, if you go into it knowing that there's no question about it, it's not up for debate, the Earth is 100% a ball, and I know that no matter what, then you see this evidence that directly falsifies it, you're not even considering that it could falsify it. You're just desperately trying to come up with a way that it would be explained. And that was just the first example I gave you. We have another one where we're 1 foot off the ground. So if there's a ball, it should block my view super fast. I'm like right on the surface of it. But when we looked out at 1 foot, we could see the horizon over 10 miles away, and it should be less than 2 miles. It should be 1 mile effectively, 1.2 miles away. But the horizon's over 10 miles away. So there is no Earth curvature blocking us on this Earth, and we've done the tests. We've done the tests all over the Earth. So you name it. Like, I travel the U.S. making observations all over it. The whole United States is flat.
Okay,
the whole United States.
Yeah. So also another question I'd like to ask is like, actually, first of all, can you guys DM me some like things like experiments that some flat earthers
Yes.
done?
Yeah. Do you know where the voice text is?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the voice text people will just drop stuff. Like, we can drop the black swan, which I just described to you. They already did drop the mountains earlier. We can show you lasers. So we've used like laser experiments, if you will, demonstrations. From FE Core, which is a field of engineers that debunk the curvature. We shoot the laser over the water, and it should get hit and obstructed by the curve of the Earth bulging up. But it doesn't. It goes all the way like 20 miles to the target.
Mm-hmm.
That's just impossible. It's just impossible. The Earth should block the laser. Like, can you, if you're standing on one side of a hill, like a mound of dirt, can you see me on the other side?
Oh, no. I don't think so.
Right. If I shoot a laser at that hill, can I shoot it through the hill and then get to you?
No.
Right. So if I'm able to shoot it straight and horizontal like that, like aimed at you, and it gets to you, there is no hill between us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we did.
Well, I'll look more into this because, like I said, I'm not very knowledgeable in it, and I want to see both sides. And I'm not even, I'm not very knowledgeable about. I do know, but the main thing I do know is that the reason why I think I'm more inclined to believe both that your eyes will deceive you is because I'm more inclined to believe that than my brain conceptualizing and saying that the shape of the Earth is different. So I think I'm just trying to fool myself into thinking, which I know that, like, although like I'm teetering, like I'm like, okay, well, it could be this, but it could be that. I do want to make sure I get a good grounds of like good both arguments. So I'd be,
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be.
So this is, sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, I think that I was going to jump in with this anyway, but perfectly after you said that, the first step actually is just to examine your current belief. So it's like instinctive for us to go try and pick apart, like, what could flat earthers be talking about or whatever. But like, the truth is, to have a justified belief right? You're going to have like empirical evidence for your belief, but more so before you can have a justified belief, you have to actually understand and know what the belief is.
Right.
And so that's the first step, is actually just to go learn the globe, because what we found out is the public school system doesn't seem to want to teach you a lot of it, and basically no one knows anything about it. Like, I offered $100 around the entire United States for people to answer 3 basic globe questions, like how many times does the Earth spin a day and stuff like this, and people couldn't win the money across the whole. Anyway, the point is just examine what you hold to be true right now, what you hold to be true right now, and then try to find what is the evidence that actually proves that's true.
Okay.
Because I've always only just heard, and you're going to find out that that's really the biggest that's like the biggest eye opener right there, is that there's no evidence for any of the globe Earth claims of curvature or motion. None.
Yeah.
There's no actual evidence.
Yeah, it's pretty. One thing that I often used to like think about, and like, this is kind of goofy, but I promise I'm not doing any trolling or anything like this. What are you guys' thoughts on the donut theory? And I know this sounds stupid, but I genuinely want to know what you guys think about it, because I was like, I think there was this troll in some like debate argument or whatever, and I heard them say it was a donut, and I started looking deeper into it, and I genuinely, and I'm not kidding with this, I genuinely started to think about it. What do you guys think of that? If that makes any sense. Because I don't know.
Stop the cap.
I know, no. I'm laughing because like I feel like I sound stupid right now, but I'm being honest. Like, because
No, it's all good.
yeah, like, what do you guys think of maybe like any other shapes or elements of those shapes that you guys have?
So, just so you understand, flat isn't a shape. Like, it's just a description of something. Like, right. So we don't claim a shape, but for there to be a donut, then there would have to be curvature on the Earth that was measurable and detectable like that, because a donut would have that. Now, I will say that we're not allowed to go to the center, and there is a magnetic field in the Earth, and if you look at how magnetic fields work, there's a center of like a toroidal, field of energy, effectively, and in that sense, the electromagnetic field does look like a donut. And so would there be something to that, as in like that shape of energy around the Earth? And then what would be like the center of the donut or whatever? We can't go there. So long story short, that's the answer. The Earth is a plane, though. The Earth itself is a plane. The water all surrounding the land is horizontal and flat. And
what I mean by donut is pretty much not like a round donut, but like a flat donut, if that makes any sense. Like a flat, like kind of like a disc but wider, like a donut but flat, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't explain it. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we don't really know what's in the center. We don't know what's in the quote unquote North Pole. It's illegal to fly within 500 miles of each direction of that place, which is totally not sketchy. And then both the North and South Pole on Google Earth are just a bunch of cartoons. Like, they literally just give you cartoons, like blatant animation in those areas of the Earth for whatever reason in 2022. So they basically say nothing's there, but we can't go there. And so I don't really know. I mean, we aren't sure. It's a very interesting idea, though, knowing what we know about magnetism. But we don't know. We simply can't get to the center. Is it possible in that sense? I think all the flat earthers in here that are being honest would have to say, yeah, that's possible, as in we don't know what's in the center. We obviously know that the Earth has depth and we don't know how far it is, but blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I would add to that as well is that you get a lot of these kind of troll Earth kind of things. There's a bunch of memes that we've made, like there's a dinosaur Earth and there's a bunch of other stuff. People come up with this dumb stuff. They think they're trolling us, but we actually find it kind of funny. But at the same time, it's not conducive to like a proper discussion about the shape of the Earth. Like Witsit said, the main takeaway is that there's no curvature. So any shape like that involves curvature has no evidence. Past that, who knows?
I have my grandma here. I was wondering, Nana, what are your thoughts on like what did they teach you in school about the globe?
About who?
The globe, like of the Earth. Okay, what are your thoughts on? What did you think about the flat Earth theory?
Flat.
Flat Earth theory.
I think the Earth is round.
All right. Okay.
This way.
All right.
Did you say?
Yeah.
Or so are quarters.
And tables, flat, round tables,
And pizza.
and frisbees are flat and round.
Nana seems pretty chill though, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you could probably definitely get her. Figure it out yourself, and then she'll listen to you open-minded. It sounds like.
Yeah. So, dude, what do you think about the conversation so far? DWD. What do you think about the convo so far?
Oh, I don't know. I was playing Batman all the time.
You doing what?
I was playing Batman all the time.
Batman.
Yeah. I think I stopped listening after you guys stopped talking about like the moon stuff.
All right. Well, go back to the moon stuff if you want.
Oh, whatever y'all want. I'm just listening.
Do you think we landed on the moon then?
Maybe. But then I think though, like that little like shuttle thing they went in looked kind of like didn't look that like advanced to even make it past like the asteroid belt. So I don't know. I'm like conflicted. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I bring up pictures of the LEM, it's pretty sketchy. Let me just bring it up.
Very sketchy indeed. But to pull that off though, like to fake that,
Yeah.
that would be very difficult too, right?
Why would that be difficult? Like how could you
like all
check?
the people involved, like in broadcast and everything, like there had to be at least one of the people that were like for example, the people in like the telecommunication thing, like making sure they can get a signal in the shuttle or whatever,
oh yeah,
so
well, we
many
can talk
people
about that.
there, so many people involved, like at least one of them had to be like, yo, wait a minute, maybe we should like, I don't know, this is
Yeah, do you want to know how they got the signal to present it to everyone else?
how
They had to take a third hand feed. So none of the television companies were allowed to have a direct feed. They had to literally film off of a screen in NASA. Yeah, look into
no
it.
one said anything. That's crazy.
Look, bro. You're about like let's put it this way. You're about to make a shit ton of money. Pardon my French.
But
And
people look so interested. That's good acting, huh?
well, yeah, but that's the point, right? You are in charge of a television company, right? And so there's like only 3 television companies or whatever. I don't know what the landscape was back then, but you're about to make a ton of money, and you know, or you've been given this unique opportunity. Maybe I'm not sure what their motivations would have been individually or collectively, but you've got this amazing opportunity, right? And they say, all right, all you've got to do is you've just got to like film this. Like, are you going to be like, or are you just going to go ahead and do it?
Damn. I mean, but the astronauts though, wouldn't they already make a lot of money?
Oh, astronauts are absolutely loaded.
And also they're part of like if this is all like, you know, with the government and this is like planned, like wouldn't they already like be like loaded? Like if they're hiding a government secret, bro, these are government people, right? They would have been having money. You know, it's got to be something else.
I mean, there's a bunch of layers to this.
Maybe space.
Sure.
I guess it could just be a space race thing. You know, competition maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but they would be in on it, right? Like the Russian, if the Russians and
But
the
then why
Americans,
wasn't one Russian to be on it? Like, what if?
well, because they're not really enemies.
Oh, maybe.
How do you guys think so you guys, just so I know, you guys do believe in space, right?
Not
We
really.
don't believe in outer space. We obviously know that there are lights in the moon, in the sky. But the outer space vacuum with all these different distances and stories about the sky, no. So outer space is fake.
No,
is
yeah.
there literally space with stuff in it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like asking the difference between do you believe in the Earth versus do you believe in Middle Earth. Well, I believe in the Earth, but I don't believe in hobbits and dwarves and ents. You know.
Wait a minute, crypto. Have you?
Yeah, we don't believe in outer space. We believe in God's firmament. That's it. It's the dome.
Have you guys seen the P900
Don't
stars?
speak
Like
for
the
everyone.
stars zoomed in, how they're like twinkling.
Don't speak
I
for
think that looks
everyone.
kind of sus.
Yo, too many people talking.
All right.
Crypto.
Yep.
Have you seen the P900 telescope stars? How they're like twinkling?
Yeah, but I'm not a photographer, so I don't know if that's like a lens effect or what.
Yeah,
Oh,
people say they're out of
someone's
focus, but it's digital, and digital compared to analog does seem to show pretty interesting frequency patterns on frequency patterns on lights in the sky. We don't actually know what's in the sky, but we can also do something called sonoluminescence. You can send sound waves in the water, and it'll actually turn into basically like a little star, and a little bubble. So light can be created from water with sound. But yeah, so we don't really know what's up there, but we just know that what they said's a lie. And I have a phrase for this. Falsification is independent of replacement. How about Ingo? Falsification is independent of replacement.
And back to the space thing, there is space in matter, but there's no matter in space. So between you and
Ooh, that's a bar.
but air isn't nothing. And we're saying that there is no evidence of balls of matter falling around each other in a vacuum magically in the vacuum of space. No, that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they don't even know what's going on. Like, okay, in mainstream quote unquote science in the heliocentric model, they don't know, like you said earlier, what dark matter is or what dark energy is. They're estimated to be off 10 to 120 zeros with their math. There's not enough there's not enough mass in the galaxies. There's way too much energy. The expansion rate is far too slow. It needs to go 10 times faster, or is going 10 times faster than it's supposed to, one or the other. Everything, okay, like they just now found out that they were off by over 100 light years from how far away Polaris is, which is like the North Pole star, like the center of the sky where all the stars move around it, basically. Anyway, so my point is that their paradigm, when people say, do you believe in outer space? Or do you believe in space? Do you think space is big? Whatever. It's like, bro, do you believe in outer space? Because you're not even really sure what it is, but here, we'll tell you. And make sure you actually believe in it before you ask if I believe in it, because,
Well, it is just a belief, and that's all you can do is believe in it, because nobody has firsthand experience of this fictional location.
I mean, although, the reason why I'm asking this is because, my point of belief, right, is I just want to understand the complete, point, the whole, whole little package of what the theory is in general, because I'm trying to understand where exactly. Where's
if
this?
you were really powerful and you wanted to control people, lots of people on the earth, and you wanted to keep getting power, so money and power, so you would really know that land is like the most valuable resource in the world. Many wealthy people will tell you, one thing they don't make any more of? Land. When you ask them about an investment or something. Okay, because everyone knows this. So if powerful people had an objective to control the large mass of people and continue to be powerful, wouldn't it make a lot of sense if you could keep certain land to yourself and keep them confined to wherever you allow them to go?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I mean, me personally, if I was in power, I wouldn't really care. But I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. So you know how okay, when you go to Mount Everest and stuff like that, have you guys heard of people saying you can see the curvature of the Earth at Mount Everest? Have you guys heard that argument? If so, what are your takes on that?
Yeah, so the argument's you should be able to see across the whole earth. Hey, dude, when you're not talking, you gotta mute your mic.
Oh,
You can't stand your mic. It's all good, bro. So yeah, we can't see forever. So, for example, there's a Hollywood sign in California And on certain days, you can't even see it from like right down the street because there's so much stuff in the air between you and it. So, and that's because of pollution typically that you really can't see it. But the point is that when there's stuff in the air, eventually you can't see through the air anymore. So if you're looking through like thousands of miles of air with densities, then you're looking towards the surface with the most dense air for long periods of time, for long distances. You're not eventually going to be obstructed. You can't see forever. In addition to that, on a flat surface, as things get further away from you, they decrease in angular size. Like when stuff gets further away, it gets smaller. Like if someone walks down the street, they're going to look like they're getting smaller, but they're actually just getting further away. Well, the same thing would happen with Mount Everest. So the combination of angular size change and that we cannot see forever through endless atmos answers the question. The Earth is flat, and you wouldn't expect to be able to see across the entire Earth. It would literally be impossible to ever do such.
Yeah,
I'm a bit confused because
Yeah.
maybe
Would you
Jace's going to
answer
say something
one
else.
question?
No, can I just go ahead? So I think Not Joy actually asked about seeing the curvature from high altitudes rather than the specifics of things shrinking in the distance. But correct me if I'm wrong, Not Joy.
I thought she said you see Mount Everest. Oh, my bad. Maybe I misheard.
No, I think she said that you can see the curvature from Mount Everest. So
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is what I want to address. So I posted a GIF from the top of Mount Everest, which shows no curvature to help you. And then I also have a video from Neil deGrasse Tyson where he's talking about how they can't see the curve even higher up. So anybody who says that they can see the curve from the top of Mount Everest is just simply lying to you.
Yeah, and I would add, if you look in the live stream voice text, Not Joy, and Dude as well, if you're paying attention, have a look at what Critical Inception has posted, and what you'll see there is I think it's that Darth Vader, Darth Vader attached to a high altitude balloon, right? And you'll notice that there's this big curve of the Earth, and as the camera goes up, the curve actually inverts, right? So that's not the curve of the Earth, actually, that's the curve of the lens. So it doesn't prove anything.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about. Hold on, here I'll show you a better example. Let me just. Can I share my? Oh no, I can't.
But this thing that Critical Inception has posted will be higher than, like, way higher than any flight. It's higher than Mount Everest. It's higher than any of that stuff.
Here is where, because I'm trying to figure out what, like, if pictures and video are not sufficient evidence, how am I supposed to, like, I know because a lot of flutter.
I know where you're going. Can I help real quick?
Yeah,
All you got to do is go out and observe and measure it yourself. None of us should be able to convince you, 100% either way. What I like to do here, and I hear a lot of people doing here, in my opinion, is trying to get people to start thinking a little different and perhaps more critically about their world, so that they can go out and use their senses. So you can go out and use your senses to observe and test and measure your reality instead of take someone's word for it. So yeah, the best way to do it is to go see for yourself. But yes,
well,
we've been here a while, so go ahead.
Yeah, well, still, in general, like I said, like, I'm not here to, I'm here to see both sides in general. I'm here to see both sides and both people's strongest arguments against these things. So for me to go outside and to measure, whether or not the Earth is flat or whatever, and be like, aha, it is flat, whatever. What I'm here to see is people's responses to what people do, how people respond to someone measuring, that's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see it from more of a, like, what's it called? Third person perspective? Something like that. Yeah, like trying to see it from because like I said, for me, although I'm a little inclined to believe the Earth may be flat because I've heard certain arguments for it or whatever. Still, I'm still, teetering, whatever, and sooner or later I might teeter to this side or whatever, depending on how I observe the arguments. But yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Crypto said back to you? He said
Yeah.
he was showing you things much higher than that, where there is no curvature. And Neil deGrasse Tyson actually explains
Yeah.
that from 128,000 feet, and even since then has said something about 60 miles up, you wouldn't see the curvature. So, yeah, someone is obviously just taking a picture with the fisheye lens of a GoPro when they get up on the mountain, and I can make the sidewalk look like it's curving with my GoPro. So, effectively, yeah, it's just that if that's the best evidence for both sides, like you're saying, well, that one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at pictures of Mount Everest and pictures of people high up on the mountains, and because like I'm so confused because I see pictures of curvature and then I don't see pictures of curvature, and like I know what a GoPro camera would look like. Like I understand how GoPros will curve the like lens, but these don't specifically aren't GoPros because they're not curving the outer whatever. Anyways, but
Can I interject here?
Yeah,
Can I
go
help you out here? So what you're talking about is subjective. So it's really not that different from going up into an airplane and saying, oh, I see the curvature of the earth from the window of this airplane. And I'm standing next to you on the airplane. I look out the same window and I say, I see a flat earth. So
Yeah.
you see the problem there? It's just your word against my word. It's just a subjective thing. It's not like either of us are really proving it to be one way or the other. So what we would need to do in that situation is we need to land the aircraft and figure out a reliable method we can both agree on to directly measure the earth and find it to be flat or curved. And we've done it with lasers. We've observed shorelines and targets over bodies of water we shouldn't be able to observe, horizons further than they should be. So what I'm saying is I'm not opposed to the idea of the earth being a ball. In fact, I can think of at least a few reasons why I'd prefer it to be, but what I want to be reality and what is reality are not necessarily the same thing. So
yeah.
If what I'm just saying is like you observe, I observe the earth to be flat. I haven't climbed to the top of Mount St. Helens, Mount Everest. I haven't gone that high up, but I have gone to 7,800 feet, which is Mount St. Helens, much shorter mountain. And from there, the two times that I climbed it, it seemed very, very flat. So I can say that our base axiom is that the earth is flat, the earth is stationary. It's only when we can have a direct measurement of curvature or a direct measurement of axial rotation, then we have evidence to the contrary that we can acknowledge. Until then, to the best of your knowledge and to the best of my knowledge, the earth is flat and stationary.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like from our perspective, in general, the Earth would be flat from our observation.
Well, yeah, but you can drop the perspective thing because it's not perspective. Perspective has nothing to do with what I was just saying. The point is, it's to the best of your knowledge, the Earth is flat and stationary until you have evidence to the contrary. And by the way, if you ever find that evidence to the contrary, please bring it here because I'd like to see it.
Oh yeah, I mean, also one thing I have a question about. So okay, so the idea of the Earth that it's a plane. Why exactly? This is a genuine question. Why exactly would there be a circle of ice around us? I don't like. How do
Well, we don't know why. We don't know why the Earth was designed the way that it is, nor do we even know exactly what it is. We don't actually know that there's an ice ring around us, like per se. It seems to be what all the evidence shows in every direction south. We're not allowed to go there. We don't know answers to why would the Earth have this in its design or anything like that. Like we just know what is and what is not, and the Earth is not what they said that it is. And you could just start with the fact that it's not moving. It's literally not moving. It's stationary, and just take it step by step and look for the evidence. And there's no evidence that it's moving. So, like, can you think of any evidence that the Earth is moving? I think you have to really think about it on a fundamental level. When you see stuff move in the sky, like the sun or the moon, or if you take time lapse of the stars, you'll see them move in circles, right? So the stuff in the sky moves. We have two options. One is that the stuff in the sky moves. The other option is that actually all the stuff in the sky is sitting still, and we're spinning, but can't feel it. So it makes it look like the stuff in the sky moves. That's our fundamental two options, right?
Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm getting bombarded with a lot of information. So if I'm not like listening to a specific thing or whatever, I really apologize. It's not because I'm like maybe my subconscious trying to avoid or whatever, but I don't know. I'm bad at taking in information. Also, hi
It's
Paige.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay. I feel similarly as you do as well, not Joy. I've been on the fence for a while. I've been here for like, but I'm just not here often. I actually had a question. So I got home from work and I looked up at the sky. This was maybe a week ago. The moon was full and it was casting some sort of halo in the sky and it was rounded. What could explain that if the earth is flat? Why did it look like there was a round
Wow.
of light?
Because the moon is round.
I
It's a
thought
circle.
that's what you would say, but like if the sky was just okay, then wouldn't it project in like each direction, or would it still be round because of its original shape?
Okay, so round doesn't mean sphere. A circle is round. That's all we ever see of the moon is the same moon. They say that it's one side of it, but we've never seen another side. We see a circle light in the sky. Sometimes there's an aura around it. So that's, yeah. How does the globe explain local illumination from a light source 250,000 miles away? Maybe that's the better question. But either way,
Gravity's the answer.
I want to get back to the main question I was asking her, and it can be towards you as well. But you guys understand the fundamental decision you have to make is that either we see stuff move in the sky because the stuff in the sky moves, or because it's sitting still and we're moving, we just can't feel it, so it looks like it's moving. You guys know that, right?
Oh yeah, I thought that the Earth moves and the sky moves as well. Is that not true?
No. So the Earth, like the stars and the sun, it has a fixed frame of reference relative to the Earth. So technically, the sun is shooting through space as well, dragging us with it. But in our reference frame, it's still like we don't. It's still relative to us, meaning that like the sun moving is an optical illusion because we're moving. It doesn't actually move in the sky, according to the globe model. Same thing with the stars. The stars are treated as a fixed frame of reference relative to the Earth.
I'm slightly okay. So, oh my god. Okay, so it's yeah. So it's
sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. Like
no, I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to help you. Like I'm not sure what. Okay, so if you see a sunset. Okay?
No, I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna send what I was talking about into the VC. I drew a picture of what I meant because it might have been a little confusing. So the white line at the bottom represents me standing. Okay, so that's the ground, and then obviously the little cookie is the moon, and then it was literally casting like this yellow halo all over it. So like that yellow halo, everything below that yellow line was also illuminated in the sky. It was almost like
Local illumination. How does that work if it's 238,000 miles away in a vacuum?
I don't know. I'm not
right.
that
So
tough.
it doesn't work. It doesn't. That their story's a lie, and we're just acknowledging what we do know. We don't know the answer to everything. Everyone's kind of expected to get the answer to everything because they claim to have the answer for everything, but we don't know. And I'm just asking you guys a fundamental thing because you guys are kind of putting the cart before the horse, where you're like, oh, okay, well, if Earth's flat, then how does everything in the universe work? And that's not the way to go. Okay,
No.
like the way to go is to actually test your current belief. So either the sun moves away from us in the sky and gets lower and lower in the sky as it gets further away, like streetlights do when you see them down the street, or during a sunset, the sun is sitting still and I'm falling backwards, so it makes the sun look like it's moving. That's the two options, okay? Now, what we feel and experience is that we're not moving and the sun's moving. That's what we observe. So we need evidence if we're ever going to claim that the other thing is happening.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. So what we need to look at, what I need to look at is like how exactly do we have evidence that the Earth is moving? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I see. Yeah. I'm actually gonna look more about that while you guys talk because I'm
You
actually not sure if we have evidence about that or
you
anything.
can look at 31 minutes after the hour. By the way, Quantum Eraser, you have an inertial frame view of the moon and the stars. Stationary drone in the inertial frame. Guess what's moving? The moon and the stars. The entire heliocentric ball-tard spinning space monkey religion dies right here at 31 minutes after the hour in 18 seconds. All right. Good?
I'm looking at this. Okay, so what it says is sorry. So I'm sorry. I'm like all over the place right now because I'm like
That's all right.
I feel like I'm in like a college classroom right now.
You
and
are.
I am. Yeah, I am. I'm learning a lot, and I like it. So that's why I'm kind of making sure I'm like trying to absorb this as much as I can because I feel like my brain is gonna be. I have ADHD, so my brain likes to hear certain things but push away other things and doesn't like a lot of information. So I'm sorry if I'm like not like I'm not listening. If that makes any sense, because I am trying. I am trying my best.
Yeah, just Boilermaker some Adderall.
Yeah, I wish I had. I'm doing a lot of nicotine right now. I probably need to stop this because it's probably making me more anxious or
We'll
whatever.
go
But
to 31 minutes after the hour. It doesn't take that long. It's 18 seconds. You got a stationary drone.
31 minutes.
Right? Yeah. And it's got a view of the moon. And this, you could see the stars. I don't know if you could see them all that. I bet on the main video right here that I posted, you could see them. They're like a 3, 9. They're all over the place. But all you have to do is watch the moon. As soon as it moves, the heliocentric ball-tard spinning space monkey religion dies. The entire thing, it's dead.
All right, I'm looking at the video here.
Yeah. It's over.
So, okay. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna look into that. So the 31. Okay. Just so I understand, the 31 minutes after the hour means what exactly?
Today at 31 minutes after the hour. My name is Quantum Eraser and live stream voice text. If you scroll all the way down to 10, I say 31 minutes after the hour because many people are on different time zones.
Oh, that's what you mean. 11:30. Okay, I was like, what do you mean by that? That's why I had a little control.
Are you on the East Coast?
I'm in Michigan. That's all I know.
You're in Michigan. Are you Central time zone?
I think so. ETC. I don't even know what time zone I'm in.
What time is it on? What time is it on your clock right now?
ETS. It's EST. I'm in EST. Yes.
Okay,
It's 11:35. 11:35.
So 11:31 today at 11:31 in live stream voice text. There's a short video, 18 seconds.
Okay.
Under Quantum Eraser, hit play.
Okay.
And then in 5 seconds, the whole heliocentric ball-tard spinning space monkey religion dies.
Okay.
As soon as the moon and the stars start moving from an inertial reference frame point of view, it's all over.
Oh, I see. So the moon starts. Why does the moon start to move?
It shouldn't move because if the Earth was rotating, it shouldn't move. So now that you're in the inertial reference frame because you're in a stationary drone, that means the drone has no momentum or angular velocity whatsoever. It's hovering. That's what hovering means. It's stationary.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as the moon and the stars start rotating, that means the moon and the stars are rotating and the Earth is stationary. Follow?
Okay, I follow. Okay, let me look up more about this.
Yep.
All right, so now that I see your point of view, I'm gonna look up what my quote unquote side says about this. So I look up
Your
like
side.
my side. Yeah, I don't want to say that, but that's kind of how it has to be right now because not my side, but like what the Globers
There's
say.
nothing to say to this.
So the
There are
science,
no sides. It's just what it is.
yeah. Okay, so this is what the globalist or whatever says here. Scientists use the movement of pendulums.
Scientists, this isn't a scientific topic.
Okay, either way. They use pendulums to provide evidence that the Earth is rotating. A pendulum is
No, that's not an answer to this. Sorry.
no. I'm not trying to answer it. I'm just wondering what does I'm not sure what exactly because I'm trying to understand. Like, what are pendulums? Like, what is like?
Who cares what a pendulum is for right now? You have inertial moon and star rotation. It's over.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with pendulums. I don't have stationary pendulums floating here. They focused.
Okay, so because I'm trying to like I said, I want to make sure like I understand what Globers are trying to say.
Yeah, to be fair, I did say to her, I think the first step is that you look into the evidence that we're supposedly moving. But he's trying to get you to really soak in this point right here. Like you're not gonna be able to Google a rebuttal from the Globe side to this right here, or we can kind of go through it. They do have one that they'll try to say, I guess, right? But it's he wants you just to really soak in this point, like the magnitude of this, which is that like what's going on here if the Earth's a ball? How would that work? Because we don't have to go much further if we discover something impossible on a spinning ball, right? I mean,
Okay, so let's look into this a little bit more. So pretty much that in the video, the moon starts to move, but the Earth is stationary. So is it that like I'm trying to figure out of this. So is it?
Well, if I'll help clear it up. If the Earth was rotating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this inertial everything would spin. I'm sorry, it would stop.
Everything would stop?
It would stop. There would be no movement of the moon and the stars. Now, since the Earth is not spinning and the drone is in the inertial reference frame, the same reference frame that the moon, sun, or the moon and stars are here, it's rotating. The inertial reference frame.
Okay.
Follow? Sorry about that. I mixed you.
No, it's fine. No, I'm trying to like make sure I get this. Okay. So what I'm sorry if I sound stupid. I'm sorry if I'm not like if I'm like asking the same question over and over again or something because I want to make sure I get this like straight. I want to make sure I want to get that. Oh, okay, I get it moment. So what exactly is the inertial reference frame?
Inertial reference frame is a reference frame that is not moving or constant velocity, as opposed to the non-inertial reference frame, that which the Earth is supposedly to be, that has angular velocity.
Okay.
So it's constantly accelerating, whereas the inertial reference frame is not accelerating, to be more blunt.
So okay. I feel so goofy right now. Okay. I'm trying to think through this a little bit. So
it takes a little while. Why don't you just ponder it, take it home with you, and ponder on this for a little while.
All right.
We can move on.
No. Let me just ask one more question. So the Earth is the Earth isn't moving. Just to pretty much boil it down, the Earth isn't moving. The sky is moving. Correct.
Correct.
The stuff in the sky moves. Yep.
Okay. All right. Why is the Earth stationary then? Like,
why is it stationary? That's non sequitur. Who knows why it's just stationary?
Yeah, remember I told you earlier.
Oh yeah,
we don't know why designed is a certain way, right?
Yeah. But like,
only science knows.
So like everything else is moving, but the Earth. I think I'm reading a bit too deep into it. I think that might be the issue, but because why the hell would so like
Why would they lie?
no no I'm trying to figure out like why the hell would everything else be moving like Jupiter or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, they're saying everything else is moving as a result of Earth rotating. That's you standing on the Earth, you having, along with the Earth, an angular velocity. That's why things are moving. But if you punch up into the inertial reference frame and everything else is still moving, then it's the inertial reference frame that the drone is in and the stars are in. They're moving. The Earth's stationary.
Okay.
How about that?
Is that
Does
a Star
help
Wars
or
reference?
Does that help or confuse you even more?
I think it's just because my brain is still developing, so I'm like
That's okay. No, you're okay. Take
I'm
it
like
home with you and look at it.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Like where
Well, you've been
I'm just trying to make it
I
quick.
feel like you shouldn't force any ideology onto anybody. I think everybody should do their own research.
That's what I'm saying. Take it
Yeah,
home with you and try to figure it out.
yeah. So let me just make sure I get these main points down. So the main thing that main things we have here is one, the Earth cannot be rotating. The sky can be rotating. Two, the radius what is it called? The radius
of the Earth has been falsified.
The radius of the Earth has been falsified. And what else? Make sure I understand this. The government's but there's not exactly space.
We have gas pressure on the Earth, and so the Earth has to be contained to have the gas pressure, and we are not sitting next to some vacuum of outer space that is fake.
Okay.
All right, and make sure to tell your audience that it's not a belief; these are facts of reality.
Yeah, and also I got a question. Najoy, you said your brain is still developing.
Yeah.
So I actually have a suggestion for you if you wanted to develop quicker is start eating meat.
No.
Or less sugar, better yet.
Don't worry about that. Like, if you want to get into that, I promise you, I although I'm not on this, but I can absolutely.
Yeah, just make sure don't stunt your growth eating too many veggies.
Yeah, remember, it's impossible to overdose on cholesterol, despite what the television says.
You won't catch me.
Next.
You won't catch me. But anyways, so what about planes? Like, okay, that's the main thing that I really, really kind of got me interested in the whole flat Earth thing, because I never understood. I was on a plane, during, I went on a trip, and I went on a plane, and I was confused on how the hell we were flying straight. And, okay, maybe it's because I wasn't flying that far, right? I wasn't really flying that far. But the entire time when I was looking at the plane, I have videos of it too. There were no curves. And I know it's probably because I wasn't flying that far. But at the same time, I was just wondering, also, another thing is, what are you guys' thoughts? How the hell does, clouds work then?
Clouds work. You're jumping all over the place. So the Earth's not.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm doing that again. I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. I'm just my brain, what about this? What about this? What about this? And
I got a what about this? I got another quick killer.
All right.
Globe killer. You ready for this one? You know what an
Let's hear it.
elevation angle is?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that you cannot acquire an elevation angle without the prerequisite of a flat plane baseline?
I'm going to need you to dumb that down a little bit, because I'm going to be asking a bunch of questions. So, prerequisite.
Yeah, that means it's required to attain something.
Required. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's prerequisite, pre-required to ascertain any elevation angle. So all of celestial navigation using a sextant proves a flat Earth. The moment you take an elevation angle from your feet to a celestial object, whether you're doing celestial navigation or not. The moment you do that, you immediately invoke a flat plane baseline. You can't get an elevation angle from a curved surface.
Okay.
That's a meat eater brain right there. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Please.
That one's got teeth.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the terminology because I'm a little confused on the terminology here because, like I said, I don't really know much about those words necessarily. Also, I have a question. Why don't balloons rise if they're in a container?
I'll just roll over. Why? Say that one more time.
Actually, no. I'm gonna focus. I need to focus on one thing at a time. I'm thinking about several different things.
Why don't balloons fly in a container? Or
No,
rise?
just ignore that. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm thinking way too.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to my brain's like trying to make me ask a bunch of different questions right now, but I need to focus on one thing at a time.
How
okay?
much stuff have you guys given her tonight?
No, I mean, it's in general. I have a lot of. I'm like thinking like right now, like my brain's kind of trying to like twisting gears right now, trying to conceptualize all of this
Just
right
relax then and take what's been given you instead of going off in every different direction and hitting everyone.
Baby steps. Baby
How
steps.
do how do you eat an elephant?
now. Yeah, with the.
Could I suggest something?
One bite at a time. Go ahead.
I just want to suggest something for this person because they brought up flying in a plane and you didn't notice any curve. QE has a really good proof about planes and how they should dip a certain amount over a given distance. Maybe if you ran through that with her.
Yeah, I posted it to her, but she might not know what it is. At 45 minutes after the hour, there's a website right there. It's called Globe Terminator. And it has all the flat earth proofs on it.
All right.
You can just take your time at your leisure, right? And just go through them. One of them is what he said was about plane flight. Just check that one out.
This helps me a lot. Like things just being in a certain section, so I can just look at it and just be like, okay, let me click on this, read about it, look like that. Way helps so much. Thank you, because my brain was about to just go all over the place.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. So just take your time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And go through them and then come back.
All right. Yeah.
How about that? Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna mute up real quick and just like look through this a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry I'm a little bit all over the place, but I really want to learn more about this. I want to get into it and stuff. But
You're welcome. I'll take full credit. I just arrived here about 5 to 10 minutes ago. These guys have probably been talking to you for about 2 hours.
yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely meet up, read more about this. I might be back,
cool.
whatever. Might leave. I don't know, but yeah.
All right.
Hooked another one, eh? There you go. Do you
He
think
was
the
honest.
government?
My
do you
favorite
think the
part was
government would allow for a flat Earth school?
not the government, but we can make one happen anyway.
Well,
I'd like.
no, that's what I mean, though. What do you think they would do about it?
I don't know. The thing I wanted to say about her was that she sounded honest. She stayed on topic. She wanted to know more. Each time she would let everyone speak and respond. That's the way things need to be going in this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I know everybody on the panel knows that, but it's just we got so far, and the audience too heard so much truth and factual, critically thought out and empirically proven data that we keep bringing up. And so, yeah, like I said, that person's demeanor was really cool. So anyway, go ahead, guys.